that multiple New York City Catholic churches have year over year double or even triple the number of adults signing up to become Catholic through the Order of Christian Initiation of Adults, or OCIA. This report follows a trend of rising OCIA numbers throughout the U.S. Many converts reportedly cited the assassination of Charlie Kirk as a motivator for their conversions. In addition to his political activism, Kirk, an evangelical Protestant, often spoke about the importance of faith in God. For more news with a Catholic perspective, visit EWTNnews.com. Women of Grace with Johnnette Williams starts now.
This is Women of Grace Live, discussing issues important to your life and faith. Spiritual insight, practical wisdom. Join us as we transform the world one woman at a time. Women of Grace, for such a time as this. Now, here's your host, Johnnette Williams.
Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to Women of Grace Live. I am Johnnette Williams, and I'm delighted to be with you today. I certainly am. I so love spending this time with you Monday through Friday at this same time on this same station as we discuss issues of importance to your life and your faith. You know, I want to mention something to you. I was saying on this same station, and I'm very well aware of the fact that so many of you listen to us as you're traveling along from place to place. And the way in which you're able to do that, obviously, is because of all of the great affiliates that carry our programming, but also, too, because of SiriusXM channel 130, which carries us 24/7. And so if you have satellite in your car and you're driving from place to place and you're, on a road trip or whatever the case may be, you always have access to us that way. So that came into my mind right there, and I just thought I would mention it to you, especially if you're very used to listening to us on your affiliate, and then, you're driving around and you say, oh, shucks, I can't get it anymore. Well, yes, you can if you have satellite in your car. So just a little guess what's wonderful about, EWTN radio. It's with you everywhere that you go. And of course, you can always listen to us via the EWTN app, which I encourage you to download if you don't have the app on your phone already. You can always listen to us that way as well, or on your computer. You can put it to wherever it is that you have a device, a computer device. So all of that being said, we are abundantly available to you, and we certainly are abundantly available to you when we're on the air too. So I am going to encourage you to give us a call today, 833-288-EWTN. That's 833-288-3986 is the way that you can join us live here on Women of Grace Live. We do love having that holy conversation with you. And on Wednesdays, which today is, Sue Brinkmann is with us, and we talk about the weird and the wacky. Yep, it is a Wacky Wednesday day today, and Sue is going to be catching us up on some of the strange things that are going on out there in the world. Perhaps some of the answers that she has made to questions that have come into her. But our phone lines are open for you, so you can call in and speak with her directly. 833-288-EWTN. That's 833-288-3986 is the way that you can join us by phone. We're also available for you at EWTN Radio's YouTube channel and Facebook page. Simply use the chat feature there. Put in your question, comment, insight, inspiration, or word of encouragement. We're going to get it retrieved and up on the board, and we'll be able to address it. Additionally, you can text your question or comment. Text the letters EWTN to 58177. That's EWTN to 58177. Wait for our response and then put in your question or comment, insight, inspiration, or word of encouragement. Be sure to tell us who you are, where you are, and how it is that you're listening to us today, and know that message and data rates may apply. So in all of those ways, we are available to answer your questions about the weird and the wacky that we see going on in the world today. Well, I'll tell you what is not weird and wacky. What isn't weird and wacky are the many opportunities that we provide for you on our website, womenofgrace.com. We have got a plethora of great resources available for you there. Our New Age blog, written by, researched by, and updated constantly by Sue Brinkmann, is available for you there. It's right underneath the blog. We've actually, at the bottom of our homepage there, we've actually got a button that you can click on and go directly there, or you can actually access it by putting in New Age www.womenofgrace.com. That will take you there directly as well. So we encourage you to check that out. I always encourage you to check out our study information. We've got Women of Grace studies that are going on in various places throughout the country and beyond. And we always have a study, coming up or actually being given online. And we've got several of those going on right now. So we invite you to check, that area regularly to see where a study might be happening in your locale or to join us for one of our online events. I want to also let you know that our events are listed for you there. And I'm really, really encouraging you to check out our events. We travel around the country quite a bit, and I get to meet so many of you at various kinds of gatherings, and I always look forward to that. We also hold our own Women of Grace days, our own retreat days. We hold our own conferences, just all kinds of ways in which you can see us in person and interact with us. And I love that. I love interacting with you over the airwaves here on EWTN radio. I love interacting with you in person. We love interacting with you at all of our events and at all of our studies. But I've got some events that are coming up really soon, and I want to talk with you about these. This weekend, I'm very, very eager to get to Belton, Texas. We're going to be with Armor of God Catholic Radio. We're going to be with them for their benefit banquet that's taking place right there in Belton at Christ the King Catholic Church, which is located, I think I am right in saying it is on East 24th Avenue, and I'm right. Yay, that's where it is in Belton, Texas, Christ the King Catholic Church. Everything is going to take place in the parish hall. I have it on very good authority that this happens to be a beautiful parish hall, so I'm very eager to see it, but I am more eager to see all of you who will be coming out to celebrate Armor of God Catholic Radio through their benefit banquet. And, it takes money to keep these affiliates on the air, folks. I'm sure that you're aware of that, but sometimes we don't think about it when we're listening every day, right? We just kind of take it for granted, and we ought not to do that, because it is through your donations that these beautiful affiliates are able to stay on the air. These beautiful EWTN radio partners depend upon your donations to be able to get the signal out to your area, your geographic location. So please, when there is a benefit banquet, when there is a gala, when there is anything like that that's happening, that is a fundraiser for your EWTN partner there, please show up and support. And I am hoping that loads of you in the Belton, Texas area, those of you that receive the signal through Armor of God Catholic Radio, are going to show up for this Armor of God Catholic Radio benefit banquet that's happening this weekend. Jack and I are both flying in. We're coming in on Friday, and of course it's Saturday night that we're going to gather there. And I just know that God is going to bless everyone's efforts, and I know it's going to be a blessed event for everybody that comes. So please do turn out for that. Really encouraging you to do that. We've got some other things that are coming up really soon too. I am going to be at St. John the Evangelist Catholic Church there in Vieira, Florida. I'm going to be there for a bunch of days. Yes, I am. I'm coming in and presenting to the women on a Sunday afternoon. Then Sunday evening, we begin a parish retreat. That's going to run Sunday night, Monday night, and Tuesday night. I am so looking forward to being with the good people at this parish. I understand it is a tremendously active parish, and I'm hoping that all of you listening on the east coast of Florida are planning to join us, or even really from Central Florida, because Vieira is kind of more central than it is right smack dab on the coast. You can get over there really, really fast. And ladies, those of you that are part of our Women of Grace family, Sacred Sisters, show up for this event. St. John the Evangelist Women's Conference, Prepare Ye the Way of the Lord, is the topic for that on the Sunday afternoon. And then Sunday evening, running until Tuesday night, a beautiful, beautiful parish retreat is going to be taking place. So I am encouraging you to check everything out right there at our website, womenofgrace.com. I know that you are going to enjoy it. We're hoping for a big turnout, and I'm hoping that you'll turn out and support this event. More to come on the other side of the break, and Sue Brinkmann is with us, and it's a Wacky Wednesday, so get those calls coming in. Get them up there when we still have room. We often run out of it. We're going to be right back. You're listening to Women of Grace Live. I am Johnnette Williams, 833-288-EWTN. We're going to be right back. Stay tuned.
Join the Women of the Catholic Association for Conversations with Consequences, Saturday, 7 a.m. and 5 p.m. Eastern on EWTN Radio.
Mother Angelica had a simple goal when she began EWTN: to reach the world with a gospel message. EWTN broadcasts the Holy Sacrifice of the Mass live every day, plus the Daily Rosary with Mother Angelica and Father Benedict Groeschel. We've never wavered from our mandate to proclaim the truth and majesty of the Catholic faith. Thank you for joining EWTN in this mission.
Parenting doesn't have to be a battle. In Drama-Free Discipline, Dr. Ray coaches you to parenting success. Dr. Ray Guarendi offers real-life coaching for real-life parenting. With his trademark humor, common sense, and decades of clinical experience, Dr. Ray shows you exactly what to say, what not to say, and how to restore peace without losing your cool. Instead of vague theory, Dr. Ray gives you play-by-play guidance for the daily dramas every parent faces. Bedtime battles, backseat meltdowns, morning showdowns, sibling squabbles, and more. Drama-Free Discipline by Dr. Ray Guarendi, this month's EWTN RC Book Club selection. Now available at EWTNRC.com or call our U.S.-based call center at 205-271-2990.
The Global Catholic Network.
This is EWTN Radio.
When all hope seems gone, pray for the intercession of St. Jude, the patron saint of lost causes. The free ebook, The Novena to St. Jude and More Prayers for Life's Difficult Moments, is available at EWTN.com/St. Jude.
Welcome back, friends. You are listening to Women of Grace Live. I am Johnnette Williams, and I'm delighted to be with you today. I certainly am. Looking forward to hearing from you. All of our phone lines are currently open. That is so rare on a Wacky Wednesday. So we want you to populate those lines with the questions that you have about some of the strange things that you see going on out there. Or if you just have questions about some of them, like, why can't we do this? Or why can't we do that? Or, does the Bible talk against this? Where does it say so in the Catechism? Any questions that you have related to the New Age, related to the occult, related to some of the, what do I want to say, alternative therapies and alternative medicines that are out there. We talk about all of that on a day like today. But Sue Brinkmann is with us, and I want to welcome Sue. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing just great today. How about you?
Oh, I'm doing just fine. Thank you. I was telling you there as we were heading back from the break that I spent my morning with you, and I've been sharing with our listening audience that I'm working on this beautiful study on St. Therese of Lisieux, and you actually do all of the teachings. These teachings came by way of a beautiful Benedicta enrichment seminar that we had at Malvern a couple of years back. And I'm telling you, this morning I was listening to your 5th conference, and it's the one that I am finishing up right now in terms of the study. And, I was just blown away by it. I mean, every single conference, Sue, was marvelous. And I just want to tell you, friends, when this study is ready, and hopefully it's going to be in the not too distant future, we should hopefully have it ready by Lent. That's kind of what we're hoping for, but I don't want to overpromise and under-deliver. But the fact of the matter is you're going to want to get this because it's really beautiful, Sue, really, really beautiful.
I love doing that particular conference. I just thought all of them, all 5 conferences that are part of that series. I love doing that. I love her, of course. She's been my big sister in the faith since forever. I just love her, but she's a lot deeper than people think she is. But that's not going to make her morbid in any way or unrelatable. She becomes even more dear. Mm-hmm. When you see everything she went through in her life, most people don't know she was bullied.
Yes.
She was bullied. I don't know why Therese is not the patron saint of bullies, of people who were bullied.
Yeah,
because
she
went through a hard time with that. You only relate to her more when you hear all of these things about her that are really put together in some of the works of Ida Gores. That's really what that's based on. She wrote a phenomenal book on that called The Hidden Face. Really gets into all the research up to her point in time, which is back in the 1940s, of Therese of Lisieux, all her letters, her correspondences, and that sort of thing. All the interviews from her beatification and canonization processes, they're all that information was in that book. And I used that really as the basis and the story of a soul for those conferences. So you're getting a lot of depth now about to Therese Lisieux. So anybody out there who's a lover of Therese Lisieux, you're going to walk away from there really, really loving Therese Lisieux later, because she is a great saint.
Well, and I remember that first conference, sitting there listening to you, and I was really shocked by it, because I don't think that we have a lot of information about those early years of Therese. Now we do, of course, through the work that Ida did. But when we think about Therese of Lisieux and people talk about her, they don't talk about those early years. And she lost, really, I'm going to put this in air quotes, she actually lost like 3, maybe even 4 mothers, her natural mother, and then the wet nurse that took care of her, and then she lost her sister Pauline to the convent, and I think it was Celine, right, that went in next.
Marie went in next, right?
Yeah.
So she lost 4 mothers.
She lost 4 mothers, and you think about all of that, and we know what the mother wound is like. So Therese, you made her, and the other part of what you did in this, and this is why I'm so excited about this study. We look at Therese and her little way, and we see the sacrificial nature of her being, and how it was that she said she couldn't do big things for the Lord, but she tried to do every little thing. And we can be daunted by that. We can look at that and say, oh geez, I couldn't even have the presence of mind to do that. But the fact of the matter is, when you take us through her spirituality, she shows us, you pointed out to us that we're not very different from she. And from her, and if this was possible for her, then this is possible for us too. And I thought it was a source of great encouragement in the spiritual life, and to keep at it, and to not become discouraged, to not let ourselves fall into that doubt that the evil one wants to hoist on us. So
exactly, and to make us feel bad if we don't suffer very well, because if you notice with Therese, she didn't like to suffer. She didn't like it.
Didn't.
And she said she didn't like it. She admitted it. But she would do little things with great love. Mm-hmm. Little things. Like she would just sit forward in her chair for a minute or two. But she did that for love of God, which made it into a great thing. And what she also teaches us here, and this is something the other spiritual masters teach us, is that when you suffer just for doing like these little things like that, and that's all you can do, that keeps you humble. Mm-hmm. Because those who can really go with the hair shirts and the whips and that kind of thing, they have a tendency, I'm not saying they all do, but that has a tendency toward becoming proud. Yeah. And it's people who suffer what they call meanly, 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 we don't have that luxury. We always know we're not suffering all that great, but that keeps us humble.
Yeah.
So she teaches that so well.
Yeah, and it's the consistency of that. And just a little personal story. My grandmother, my rosary praying grandmother, that's how she's become identified to so many people through the stories I tell about my gram. But her sister was a Dominican religious, Sister Mary Victoria, although we called her Aunt Lou, but it was Sister Mary Victoria. And I can remember as a wee girl when she would come and visit, the local parish had a school, and the school was taught by Dominican sisters. And there was a convent there, which was really down the street from my grandmother. And so Sister Victoria would come to the convent once a year, and all of the family would have an opportunity to see her. And I can remember that Aunt Lou used to sit exactly like that. I thought of her when I heard you offer that little mortification that Therese wouldn't sit back into the chair. She would sit up straight, and she would not relax her back, and that was a mortification. And I remember one time asking my great aunt, why don't you ever sit back? And she just looked at me with a beautiful smile and just kept smiling at me. She never did answer me, and I thought, I'll bet you it was related to that. Yeah.
Oh
That's
my
something.
goodness. Isn't that is something. I'll bet that's exactly what she was doing. And
I'm
she didn't
sure.
want to give it away. She wanted to keep
Yes.
it nice for Jesus and not tell anybody about it.
She wanted to keep it
That's
in its
so nice.
packaging, so to speak.
Yes, yes.
But
That is so
yeah,
neat.
yeah. So all of that being said, friends, when the study comes out, I will be sure to let you know, and you're going to want to get involved with that study because I think it's going to exponentially elevate your spiritual life. So thanks so much for that. So Sue, you always have a topic for us. What have you got for us today?
Oh boy, have I been waiting for this show. I've been waiting with bated breath for this show. Watch over voodoo doll keychains. I was shopping at a food store the other day and I come upon a rack of keychains that are called Watch Over Voodoo. They all have little voodoo dolls attached to them.
Oh dear.
And the purveyors of these little voodoo dolls, I'm sure people have seen them who are listening right now. They've seen them in their supermarkets. They're like a big end cap display. There's like 100 of them on there. And they're claiming they're not connected in any way to voodoo.
Oh, they're just called that.
I know. I thought, okay, all right, let's give them a chance. So I went on to the website, and everything on the website tells you how connected it is to voodoo. From the origin of the dolls. The origin of the dolls, first of all, it comes from the Caribbean. A woman named Esmeralda in the Caribbean. The Caribbean, of course, is a hub for voodoo. And they say there, oh, she wasn't your ordinary islander. She was the mastermind behind the most marvelous voodoo dolls you ever did see. And all the voodoo dolls she makes, she adds her special touch and a sprinkle of island mojo to bring the vessels to life. I thought, now, how is that not connected to voodoo? That's what I would like to. How is it not connected? So I thought, okay, give him a chance. Keep looking. So I went and I looked some more, and I went to look at the individual dolls to see what these dolls are promising. Listen to this now. The Wiz doll. That, she says, ready to unlock your inner sorcerer? With me by your side, you'll conquer every challenge that comes your way. Let's enter into the mystical realms together and make some serious magic happen. You're a wizard. And with me, there's no limit to what you can achieve. There's one called the Little Devil. And it says, ready to turn the tables on those pesky offenders? I'm the ultimate devil. And let me tell you, it's payback time. Those rude folks won't know what hit them when I step in. I thought this wasn't voodoo. And now we don't get into all that. They even say, nah, we don't get into curses and all that dark stuff. Really? Just read a few of the descriptions. Voodoo karma, let me drop some truth bombs on you. Voodoo, karma is my BFF, and vengeance is coming. I'm here to make sure it comes around.
Oh.
Really? And then a guardian angel voodoo doll. I mean, if that's not an oxymoron, what is? With me by your side every day, the little doll promises, will pave the way to a brighter future. Who wants to give that to the child to confuse them about what a guardian angel is and that they're going to rely on a voodoo doll rather than the real deal? Why would anyone do that? These things, and they're marketed, of course, to children, but anybody could have them. But the kids, of course, now they're going to want to collect them, Johnnette. Oh, I want to have this on my book bag. I want to have this voodoo doll and that voodoo doll. This is terrible. And if you take a look at the blog, I mean, this is a photo that I actually took in the store. They're all, very colorfully packaged and that sort of thing, and just waving at you. All kinds of, the Caffeine Queen, the Little Witch, the Jack Frost, the Frosty, the Ballerina. They're all different kinds of these. And they're saying, no, they have nothing to do with voodoo. We're not about dark spells or eerie curses. Nah, we're all about spreading good vibes and reminding folks of the power of positive intentions. Really? So that's why you have the one about revenge.
Yeah.
And they have a couple of them about revenge. I took them out because some of them were redundant. I took them out of the blog. But yes, this is definitely not something we want to get involved in. And years ago, this is sad, on our own website, we covered these different voodoo dolls that were being made by a Thai company, Thai THAI company. They were selling them to children as harmless toys. This was like in 2012. We wrote a story about it. Little 3 to 4 inch dolls that came with either a key ring or a cell phone attachment. And in that article about it, Father Patrick was quoted in there as denouncing these things. First of all, because they're lucky charms, and that's superstition. And second of all, he said, if the object is connected to any spirits, people are going to be giving those spirits power.
Yes.
So when you're using this little thing and thinking, oh, yeah, I'm going to get my karma here, or I'm going to get revenge with this little thing, you're calling upon a power. You're giving it permission now to be with you.
Yes.
Do you really want that? Do you? Yes. That's a demon. That is a demon. And Father says, if you believe in God and angels, then you've got to believe in the demons too, the fallen angels. And whether you like it or not, they are accessing the other angels instead of accessing the Holy Spirit. Like when they're playing with these toys, they're accessing the other angels. And instead of accessing the Holy Spirit, they're opening themselves up to whatever power is connected to the object, whether they intend to or not. And he says if they are dumb enough to summon demons, then that's what they're going to get. It's true.
What I continue to be puzzled by is why on earth would any parent want to involve their child with anything like this? There's nothing good, true, or beautiful about anything having to do with these things. I'm sure, that even the appearance of them is not beautiful. And so, I can't begin to understand why it is that, parents are so vapid that they don't have some kind of interior sense about these things. And I guess, too, because we're so steeped in it, in the culture of the day, Sue. I mean, it's just everywhere. The occult is everywhere. Mm-hmm. It's become normalized. It's become, in a sense, because of the normalization, it's become sanitized in people's minds.
It really has. And a lot of times, too, I find that people just they don't know what voodoo is. They don't know what it is. Voodoo involves the worship of a god known as Bandai, and then lesser demons who are referred to as the Lua. And the practitioner aims to be possessed by the Lua in order to allow those spirits to manifest through them. So they become like the channel for that Lua to come into the world and interact with their community. And one of their practices is the use of voodoo dolls. And the voodoo dolls is a symbolic tool that's used to influence a person or a situation through the use of magic. And they're used, both for positive purposes and for negative purposes, such as in curses and that. So but a lot of people don't know that. They don't know that in the practice of voodoo, the practitioner allows themselves to be possessed by these deities known as the Lua. And we all know who they are. Okay, they're not angels. So they're demons. They're allowing themselves to be possessed. And even though those possessions usually only take place for a couple of minutes, they don't usually stay around in all cases. They're just infrequent. But they allow that to happen. Look at the permission you're giving by practicing something like this. And then you're putting this into the hands of a child. If the parent doesn't know it, the child doesn't know it because they're not teaching them. And there he is, running around with this little thing on his book bag that he thinks is going to protect him from his enemies, allow him to get back at people who laugh at him or scoff at him, or unlock his inner sorcerer or whatever. This is now opening this child up to these powers, whether they intend to or not. Because remember, and this is something we stress a lot on the show, and for good reason, the devil doesn't care about your intentions. They have no bearing at all. Don't even think about it. Mm-mm. He only operates in the objective, never the subjective. So in the objective, all he sees is this little child has a voodoo doll and they're using it to get back at a buddy of theirs. He's giving me permission to do this.
Yeah.
That's what the devil sees, and he takes it from there.
833-288-EWTN. That's 833-288-3986 is the way that you can join us here on Women of Grace Live. It is Wacky Wednesday. Sue Brinkmann is with us. We talk about the weird and the wacky. We're eager to hear your question or to take your comment. So get on out there to that toll-free number if you're in North America, 833-288-EWTN. EWTN. We're also available for you at EWTN Radio's YouTube channel and Facebook page. Just use the chat feature there. Put in your question or comment. Do tell us who you are, where you are. If you're listening some way other than social media, let us know that as well. Additionally, you can text us. Text the letters EWTN to 58177. That's EWTN to 58177. Wait for our response. Then put in your question or comment. Do tell us who you are, where you are, and how you're listening, and know that message and data rates may apply if you use that option. We're very eager to hear from you today, all of the time. Every Wednesday, we're here with Sue Brinkmann talking about the weird and the wacky. We've got some questions coming in now. We're going to get to those phone lines, and we're going to get to Joe out there on YouTube with his question. All of that to say, we've got to be very aware of what it is that is being presented to us today in our secular culture. Coming right back. Stay tuned.
Tonight on EWTN Live, a record number of young adult converts to the Catholic Church has been recorded, and Father Will Stratton knows the reason behind them as he explains on the next EWTN Live.
EWTN Live with me, Father Mitch Packwood, tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern on EWTN TV and radio.
How many times have you heard it said that the church has been weak and ineffective? G.K. Chesterton says the church has been so powerful and effective that it colored even the things that it had not hoped to influence, and changed its enemies as well as its friends. It affects everything it touches. It inspires a life-changing love in its friends and a self-destructive hatred in its enemies. Its enemies will do everything to destroy it, and they end up destroying everything except the church. The Catholic Church, says Chesterton, has endured for 2,000 years, and the world within the church has been more lucid, more level-headed, more reasonable in its hopes, more healthy in its instincts, more humorous and cheerful in the face of fate and death than all the world outside.
Spend more time with the Apostle of Common Sense. Visit chesterton.org for more information.
EWTN Radio is all over social media. All your favorite programs are available right now. Check us out on X at EWTN Radio. Remember, EWTN is everywhere.
Hi, this is Cy Keller. We hope you'll join us and bring your questions later today on Catholic Answers Live. We've got answers. Catholic Answers Live, 6 p.m. Eastern on EWTN Radio. Now back to Women of Grace with Johnnette Williams.
Join in on the conversation. The Women of Grace phone lines are open. 1-833-288-EWTN. 1-833-288-3986.
Well, welcome back, everybody. You are listening to Women of Grace Live. I am Johnnette Williams, and I'm delighted to be with you today. I'm delighted, too, that Sue Brinkmann is with us. Sue is with us every Wednesday. It's Wacky Wednesdays on Women of Grace, and we talk about some of the strange things that we see going on out there. She keeps us alerted to new trends that are popping up, especially targeting our children, and that's something I want to talk with you about in a moment, Sue. And we're inviting you to give us a call, 833-288-EWTN. That's 833-288-3986. The phone lines are all open. We had a caller and we lost the caller, so call us back, but you can call as well, 833-288-EWTN. EWTN, toll free for you here in North America. Also available for you out there at EWTN Radio's YouTube channel and Facebook page. Simply use the chat feature, put in your question or comment. Tell us who you are, where you are. If you're listening other than through EWTN Radio's YouTube channel or Facebook page, tell us how you are listening to us. And you can text us. Text the letters EWTN to 58177. That's EWTN to 58177. Do know that you can also email your questions to us, and we'll address them on the air. That email address is womenofgrace@EWTN.com. Women of Grace, plural on women, all one word, Women of Grace. Women of Grace at EWTN.com. And so we've got Joe out there on YouTube today, and he says, are the little Jesus figures okay? People leave them all over the place. They are really little in size. And I know what they are, Sue, because recently in Pittsburgh, the lovely lady that drove me to the airport gave me some of these little Jesus, little bitty ones. And she said she's given out over 100. She gave me 5. I gave one to the sky cap outside when he took my luggage. So what about those little Jesus figures?
Well, I mean, as long as you're not using it in a superstitious way,
Right.
If you're using that little Jesus figure to remind you to pray to Jesus or to remind you that Jesus is near you or whatever, that could be a wonderful use of the little tiny the little tiny Jesuses. I used to do this in my Little Flowers Catholic Girls Club. Every year in Advent, I would give out a little tiny baby Jesus to the girls. They waited every year. They waited for this, and I would tell them the story about the little boy who got up on his birthday, and everybody forgot his birthday that day. He kept waiting to get his cake and his presents, and his mom and dad didn't do it, and the kids in school didn't do it, and nobody wished him happy birthday at the end of the day. And I said to them, who else do you know of that people always forget their birthday? Because little girls are crying at that point when you're telling the story. They're crying, and they're sitting there like, oh, that's terrible. I miss you. How do you think Jesus feels on Christmas Day when all everybody's doing is opening up the presents and no one even thinks about him? And it's his birthday. That's what it is. And they're like, So I would give him a little baby Jesus, and you would take him with you every single day, everywhere you go during the month of Advent. And don't you ever forget that it's his birthday, and then make him a special present for Christmas Day to put there by the manger under your Christmas tree, and to give him a present. And I would tell them to get a little box and put all your hugs and kisses in it and wrap it up and put it under the box. And they would do it. These girls are like from 4 to 7 years old. I mean, they're very, very young. And they did that so religiously. And every year they would wait. They would wait for me to tell the story. Tell us the Advent story. And then they would get a new little baby Jesus, because of course they lost theirs. By that point in time, they lost it. But really, it can be a beautiful thing to have that little reminder. I have statues really all over my house. I do. I admit that. I have them. You can probably see in the background my Our Lady of Mount Carmel.
Yes.
Was given to me from one of the dearest friends of my life. She gave that to me as a gift. And that I love to have them, because like Teresa of Avila taught, the reason why we have these things, why we have holy cards and things, that is not to worship these things. It's to remind us and to help our imaginations to imagine our God, our saints, the little Jesus in the manger. It helps you to imagine him. And that, of course, enhances your prayer.
Yeah.
When you can sit there and really imagine who you're talking to. Anyway, yeah, I think that.
Well, and I think that you point out something really important, and I want to underscore it a little bit, and that is that these voodoo dolls and these kinds of things, those kinds of things, are in a home or in someone's possession, most typically, not always, but most typically, because they do believe that there's a power that's associated with it. Mm-hmm. In which case, then, in some cases, that is absolutely true. But as you pointed out, that Father Patrick said, at the very least, it's superstitious. Now, we as Catholics can do the same thing with sacramentals. We can do the same thing with the holy reminders that we have in our home, the statues that we have, the crucifixes that we have, those kinds of things. We can do the very same thing. We can make it a superstition. And, I point out sometimes when we're talking about that kind of a thing, the way in which, St. Joseph is often used to sell a home, turn him upside down and bury him in your yard to sell your home. I mean, that's a superstitious practice. It's okay to pray to St. Joseph and ask him for his intercession to sell your home, but not to take a statue and turn it upside down because you think by doing these actions and taking that, piece of plaster or resin or whatever it's made out of, that something's going to happen for you. So we have to be very mindful of the way and very particular about the way in which we treat our sacramentals and the way in which we treat our religious objects.
Absolutely. I think it's very easy to fall into superstition. I think it is very easy to do that. And you just have to always remind yourself, or listen to those little checks in the spirit, because I believe the spirit will tell me when I'm starting to move into that direction. It's like, don't go that far. Don't go that far. A lot of people with their scapulars, they think, well, as long as I have a scapular or wear a brown scapular, I'll just throw it on right before I'm going to die and I'm going to go straight to heaven. That's a superstitious use of a very powerful sacramental. That is representative. Our Lady called it the livery of her Son. That is that is representative of a consecration that you make to Our Lady, to be faithful to her and to avoid sin. And she will then, in return, watch over you and protect you and make sure that you don't die with mortal sin on your soul. She'll get you a priest or something like that. She'll arrange for that, or you simply will not have any on your soul at the moment of your death. That's what that means. It doesn't mean that you can just do that and put that thing on and you're going to be fine. This is a presumption, and it's also a superstitious use of it. And I think that in a lot of ways, put the novena, 9 copies of novena in 9 churches.
Yeah.
Where do we hear that in Scripture anywhere? It's nowhere. We're never told to do that. A novena, that's fine. Just like Our Lady and the Apostles prayed for 9 days between the Ascension and Pentecost. That's wonderful to do that. But you don't have to make copies and put them in 9. That's where it goes off the rails.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Well, we did get an email in. I'd like to get to this email too. And this came in to us, and the woman is asking a question, and she says, "Hi, Johnnette and Sue Brinkmann. I am a retired public figure of more than 10 years. I have been participating in and leading Catholic groups at this time. Recently, a group with whom I worked, who engages in divination practices, has been slandering my name. Specifically, I have been falsely accused of having engaged in affairs with my staff members. I am consulting with a defamation lawyer. Spiritually, what can I do in addition to praying the rosary to get it to stop? Thank you." So apparently her past co-workers are engaging in divination practices, and they are the ones that are slandering her.
Now, the number one thing that I would do, pray for the people who are slandering her.
Yes.
Pray for them, that their hearts might be open, their eyes, the scales will fall off their eyes, and they'll be able to see the evil that they're participating in. That's the number one thing that I would do, is pray for those people who are doing it. Now, also, there are spirits of defamation. There are spirits of calumny. You can pray against those particular spirits. And I always refer people to CatholicExorcism.org. That's the name of the website, because he's got a slew of prayers that can be said by the faithful, by the lay faithful, to protect yourself from these kind of evil spirits. I also recommend the perimeter prayer that I believe is also up on his site. And that's just a prayer that you say every day that puts like a perimeter of protection around yourself from all kinds of spirits that might be trying to come against you that day. I mean, in our line of work, Johnnette, we kind of have to do stuff like that, because they're coming against us. But there's different things that you can do to pray against those spirits. But the number one thing I would do is try to change the source, and pray that those people might be open, even for a fraction of a second. Jesus knows that yes. They might be open to his grace, and they might repent of what they're doing and stop.
It's interesting, Sue, because, when these things happen, one of the questions that we immediately ask most frequently is why? Why is this going on? And, God's economy and God's ways are not our ways. They're very different from the way in which we operate. And when you talk about praying for these people, it reminds me of the fact that sometimes God permits individuals to interfere with our life in some way, to greater or lesser extent, because God knows that we are praying people, and God knows that we will pray for these people. And so, and God hears the prayers of a righteous man. Now, can God intervene on his own? He can. But one of the reasons why he desires that we intercede for people is so that we can see that he hears our prayer. So that he is a God who loves us, and a God whose ear is open to our mouth, right? That he is listening to us, that he is a personal God. So when we have a situation where someone is treating us miserably, or we have a situation where, as the case with this woman, where people are saying unkind things about her, I'm not saying that we don't try to correct it. I'm not saying that. But I am saying that your suggestion to begin with praying for these people may well be the reason why God's permitted it to happen, because he knows that you will pray for them.
Oh, I never thought of that. But that's a really good point. I just got like chills when you said that.
Wow.
Maybe that's what he's trying to do. He knows she'll pray for him.
Yep.
And that's what all they need is prayer, and they may just change. And if they're doing that, they've done this to her, they've probably done it to others too.
Yeah.
So, you can really help to bring this person to repentance, just through the power of prayer.
Yeah.
I would definitely try it.
Yeah, and it's important to know and to understand God doesn't need our prayer, right? We're not making him more powerful by way of our prayer. We're not twisting his arm to do something by way of our prayer, but he does it for our benefit so that we can see that he hears our prayer and that he answers our prayer, and it works together for the good, for everybody's good. So, it's a very sad thing. It's a very sad thing, but that being said, I think she's taking the proper steps in the natural order. She's talking to a defamation attorney. But I think that the spiritual reality is the greater of it. We've got Leanne with us. She's out there, and she is listening to us via Living Bread Radio in Ohio. And we're inviting you to give us a call as well, friends, 833-288-EWTN. That's 833-288-3986. So do give us a call or use EWTN Radio's YouTube channel or Facebook page. You can leave a message there for us, and you can do the same thing if you text us. Text the letters EWTN to 58177. Do know that message and data rates may apply. We've got Pedro Quiles doing the retrieving today. We have Matthew Gubensky out there on the phones, and we've got the one, the only, the lovely Vanessa Sanchez in studio today. So let's get to Leanne. How are you, Leanne? Good morning to you.
Good morning. I'm fine. How are you?
Good, thank you.
If a person's husband died and they were not living right, and when they died, and could that person's husband's spirit enter his wife?
Good question. Good question. In other words, could he possess her? Church really doesn't have an official teaching on that matter, but theologians and exorcists pretty much agree that that is not possible. Demons can only possess a person because they're preternatural beings, and they have the power to override nature in order to be able to possess a human being, and a disembodied human soul does not have that power because they're not preternatural beings. So the answer to that question is no. Now, whether or not that person is identifying themselves as that person's spouse or relative, yes, but demons are liars. And more than likely, they're the ones who are saying that, oh, I'm your husband, even though that really isn't possible. The disembodied human souls just don't have the power to do that. That's a great question, though, Leanne. That's a good one. I don't
really
think we've ever had that question. We've never had that question.
No, we never have. And, and that answer, Sue, is really interesting, too. The difference between the preternatural soul and the human soul. Why don't you talk about that for a moment?
Yeah, the preternatural soul, that soul has been created by God to never have a body, okay? It's only going to be what theologians call a mind. It's only spirit, whereas we were created to have a body. So we're completely two completely different natures, as the preternatural and then the natural. And they have a power that enables them to override human nature, whereas human nature, of course, doesn't have that. We don't have that power. Yeah. That's why that is not possible for that. And that makes sense to me. It makes sense to me because they have enormous powers.
Yeah.
Preternatural beings are far more powerful than you can even imagine. Even reading about them is just fascinating, how much power they have. Like, why people don't call on their guardian angels, I do not know, because they are so powerful and they're just standing here at the ready. Yeah. But on the flip side, so are demons. Mm-hmm. They've fallen and their intellect has been corrupted to a certain extent, but they remain what they are, and that's preternatural beings.
So, Leanne, I've got a question for you. And the question is, this woman who thinks that she is being possessed by her husband, her deceased husband, has she done anything to invite that kind of thing to happen? Did she go to a seance to try to communicate with him? Or has she involved herself in any kind of other occult activities that would open her up to a demon who could masquerade as her deceased husband? Because that's what they do. They that's what you were talking about, Sue. They're liars. They'll assume a false identity, an identity that would be known to the person or would be admired by the person, so that the person remains susceptible. So,
well, there's a book out there. This is why I'm calling. There's a book out there. This lady wrote it, and she also has a podcast. And she said that she the priest performed an exorcism on her because she had her deceased husband's spirit in her. Now, I don't know if it's a novel or if it's really true, but even if it was a novel, doesn't that mean she's like like involved with Satan stuff, with demonic stuff?
Well, just based on Sue's answer, it would be all demonic. It could, but it wouldn't be. Sue is making the distinction of, and it's surprising that the exorcist said it was her dead husband's spirit. Which she's making a distinction of is the difference between the nature of angels and demons, because demons are fallen angels, but that reality and who the human person is.
Yeah, and was it a Catholic? Was it a Catholic? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I know is dating this woman.
Who's dating this woman?
Actually, my son.
Oh, your son is dating this woman.
Oh, dear. Okay. Is it a Catholic exorcist that did this? Because I don't know why a Catholic exorcist would say that her husband was possessing her. I don't understand.
He doesn't know that I know this.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's definitely an issue. That's an issue there.
Yeah.
And is he Catholic? Does he still practice his faith? Your son?
Is it my son? Yeah, he was baptized. He grew up Catholic, but he hasn't been in church ever since his divorce years ago.
Okay.
So it's
okay.
I'm concerned spiritually. You know what I mean? If she's living in the home, and what could be happening there?
Yes, anything could be happening. Now, if this was a work of fiction, but that still is telling me that she has some sort of a fascination with that subject, that she wants to write about it, even in fiction. I doubt that this is it. Well, it could be a true story. There's a lot of people out there who think things like this have happened to them for one reason or another. They do believe that their husband. It's not the first time I've heard it. Let's put it that way. That someone said that their deceased father possessed them. I had come across that at one point. But, yeah, that's definitely an issue that I would spend a lot of time praying about, and maybe speaking to your priest to see what they might suggest to you in trying to convince him that that's not possible for a deceased person to possess another human, a living human being. That's not possible. It's just not possible. And it's not Catholic teaching. He might not care about that if he doesn't go to the church anymore, but you can still say that it's not possible because of the nature of the beings, the nature of the human and the nature of the preternatural being, the angel, who in this case would be the fallen angel, the demon. So you could maybe approach it in that direction and just say, look, there's two different natures. It's never going to happen.
But Leanne, if I understand correctly, your son does not know that you're aware of this woman, correct?
True.
Right. Yes, I heard from another family member.
Okay, so I think that what you could do then is to obviously pray, but pray specifically. I would think, Sue, maybe the Undoer of Knots novena. Ask Our Lady under her title, Undoer of Knots, Knots, to begin to unravel this knot. And if you ever have the occasion to be in that house, I would just take a little bit of blessed salt. I would take a little bit of holy water, and I would very, very, judiciously and discerningly, sprinkle it about when no one's looking, and sprinkle a little bit of the salt and a little bit of the water. Those are sacramentals. I know of someone who used to hide a whole lot of blessed miraculous metals in places like between box springs and mattresses, and where people wouldn't find them, but nonetheless the sacramental was there. But unless he confides this to you, there's not much that you can say to him about it. And I would just ask the Lord to continue to stir up his sacramental graces, the sacramental graces of his baptism, and maybe put a desire in his heart to begin to go back to church.
Yeah, that would be wonderful. That would be good. Right? And if he does bring it up, who knows, he might be bragging about it and think it's cool that she wrote this book, and then maybe you can then come in there into it, I would say, more cautiously by saying, well, that's kind of not possible because of the two different beings, the nature of the, maybe come into it from that point of view and try
you can say, yeah, that really is a work of fiction, because that's not possible. Oh, I hope we've helped you somewhat, Leanne, and we'll tuck you into our prayers too, so you're not alone in your prayer for your son there. All kinds of different things go on out there, folks, and that's why we dedicate Wednesdays to talking about it all. We're here every Wednesday for you. Our program, of course, airs Monday through Friday, but Wednesday is dedicated to the wackiness of the world on Wacky Wednesday with Sue Brinkmann. Get on out there to our website, womenofgrace.com. All of the New Age blogs are there, as well as Sue's podcasts, Grace Under Fire. You'll find them there under the library. The blog, of course, under the blogs. And we appreciate you checking out all of the good resources available for you at our website, womenofgrace.com. God bless you all. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
The most original and exclusive Catholic content is on EWTN Radio.
This is Dr. Ray Guarendi from The Doctor Is In. You call in and we will talk about what matters to you in your life.